Hey YouTube, this is Tom from TM Aquariums, bringing you a quick update video today to talk about some plans I have to expand my fish room, or more accurately stated, to add a lot more fish tanks to my storage room, or to my wife's storage room, depending on how you look at it. Currently back in our storage room, you can see I've got a big storage room. When we built this house, we left enough space to have a nice big 22 by 22 storage room slash utility room, and that's great to have that much space to store all that stuff. The downside is we have that much space to store all this stuff that we don't need and don't use. So anyways, we came down here a couple weeks ago and cleared out some space for some additional tanks, and I'll show you that real quick. But first, I currently have these 3 tanks back here. I have a 55-gallon L134 leopard frog pleco tank. There's only one out. The rest of them are caved up. That's a female back there. The rest of them are caved up. Have a total of 5 adults and 3 sub-adults in there. Love those little guys. And then down below I have 2 20-gallon tanks. These are Blue Dream Neocardinas in there. I just picked up 15 of those a week and a half ago, and they're doing pretty good. And then I have over here full red-eye albino guppies. This was an impulsive buy. These I wanted, these were an impulsive buy. And I'm not sure why I did that, but I came across some at a good price, bought 11 of them, turned around, bought another 6 of them. I'm removing, in the net there, I got a couple of the males that aren't coloring out real nice, so I will get rid of those. And we'll breed them, we'll get a couple batches of fry out of them and see how they do. We'll see if there's a demand on eBay, Aquabid, at the local fish stores, or on the local at the local fish club. If we can find some interest in these fish, we'll hold on to them for a while. If not, then I'll bag them up and sell them and get rid of the entire colony, and we'll try something different. So anyways, that's what I've got back here in the storage room right now. Now, moving forward, I mentioned we came down here a couple weeks ago and we cleared out a bunch of crap. You can see an empty shelf right there. We have a bunch of space back on that shelf and more space over on these shelves. And there was an ulterior motive involved there that my wife didn't know about at the time. Now, when we came down here, the premise was, let's have a massive garage sale and get rid of a bunch of stuff. So anyways, we came down here and we cleared up a bunch of space. We had some shelves over here, and we got rid of a bunch of stuff and broke down a couple shelves, and that freed up enough wall space for me to build a new fish tank rack. Not just one, but 2. So my expansion, my first expansion, what I'm calling phase 1, is right here. This past weekend I picked up 6 new tanks. I picked up 2 40 breeders, 2 20 longs, and 2 20-gallon highs. The phase 1 of my expansion will be these 6 tanks and a rack system right over here. Getting rid of this one tonight. This is an old 37 Oceanic. Someone's coming over tonight to buy that off my hands. Just doesn't fit my plans moving forward. Makes a great discus breeder, angel breeder, or quarantine tank. It's a great tank, but I just don't have the space for it. So the first rack will be right here. There will be 3 shelves. On the bottom and the middle shelf will be a 40 breeder next to a 20-gallon. That'll be on the first 2 shelves, and then the top shelf will have 2 20 longs. The fish that I plan to put in these tanks are going to be a shell dweller in here. They're not going to be the typical multifasciata shell dweller, although I do love multis, and I may end up with multis, but I'm trying to find Altolamprologus compressiceps sumbas. They're a compressiceps, a dwarf shell-dwelling compressiceps that looks just like their bigger brothers, the bigger compressiceps, and their cousins, the calvus. The problem is they're very hard to source, and they're expensive once you find them. But if I can get a colony of those and get those breeding, I mean, I might be able to retire a year or 2 early. The second 40 breeder is, right now I'm leaning towards another L number series. I really enjoy these plecos over here, although you really can't see them right now. They come out a lot later in the day when it's getting closer to lights off. They know it. Their biological clock is ticking. They know it's going to be feeding time. And they're really fun to watch. A lot of character, a lot of personality, believe it or not, in plecos. But this is going to be more than likely, it's going to be another pleco tank. I would really love to do a zebra pleco tank, but I'm not sure. We'll see. It just depends on whether or not I can find a good source for zebra plecos, and if I can find somewhere I wouldn't have to take out a second mortgage on the house. So we'll see. The 20-gallon tanks, one of the 20 highs is going to be peacock gudgeons. I've always wanted to keep peacock gudgeons and try them, so I'm going to leave one of those tanks for peacock gudgeons. The other 20 high and the 220 longs will be more Neocaridina shrimp, just like the Blue Dreams are. And the reason I'm doing Neocaridina shrimp right now to start out is, number one, I need to get my feet wet back into the shrimp. It's been a while since I've had shrimp, and I just need to get my feet wet with them. They're easier to keep. They're easier for the average hobbyist, and they're just a lot easier. I have the Blue Dreams. In these 3 tanks, I'm going to do Bloody Marys, Orange Sakuras, in either neon yellows or black rose. So I'll have 4 different colors of Neocaridina shrimp, and then the peacock gudgeons, the Compressicept, Sumba shell dwellers, and leopard hopefully zebra plecos or a different L number. That'll be phase 1 of the fish rack that will kind of go over to about right where the ladder is. Phase 2 will be another rack that will come out from the fish room or the rack, so it'll kind of be an L shape fish rack, and that will have 15-gallon tanks on it, and they'll either be 4 or 5 depending on how much clearance I can leave between each tank and the next shelf. I've got about 8.5, almost 9 inches between these tanks here and the shelf, and that's perfect for getting in there. I can do all the maintenance that I need to, and I feel like I'm not restricted at all. So I want at least 8 inches of clearance. So when I do the math, depending on how high I start the rack or where the first tank is, maybe I'll have 4, maybe I'll have enough room for 5 15 gallons. If not, there'll be 4 15 gallons. And in those tanks are going to be Caridina shrimp. There will be, those are the crystals, the King Kongs, the pandas. I'm going to leave 1 of the 15 gallons open for my quarantine tank, and then the other 3 will have Caridina shrimp. If I end up with 5 tanks over there, maybe I'll still do 3 Caridina shrimp, and then leave 2 tanks for quarantine and hospital. I don't know. This used to be my QT tank here. Again, someone's coming over tonight to buy this from me and get this out of my way. So that's going to leave me without a quarantine tank, so I'm definitely going to need one moving forward. So maybe one of these will serve as a QT tank. Probably will. I'll probably need to leave one of these as a QT tank until the shrimp tank or the shrimp rack is built and constructed. So anyways, those are my plans moving forward. I'm excited to pick up some new tanks. I'm excited to expand the hobby a little bit. Something I've wanted to do for some time. I did back out of the hobby a few years ago, but those were for other reasons. And so we're going to move forward. We're going to expand. And if this phase goes good, phase 1, and then we can get phase 2, the shrimp rack in, then I'm considering a phase 3. That one's going to take a little bit of a sales job on my behalf with my wife. We have an extra washer and dryer down here. When we built the house, we thought it'd be a great idea to have a separate washer and dryer for super dirty clothes like hunting clothes, painting clothes, gardening clothes, yard work clothes. So we could wash those really dirties in a different washer and dryer than we wash our normal clothes in. The sad reality, we never come down here and use this, so these are just taking up space. But I have the perfect amount of room to build another rack over here. I've got my water source here. I've got drains right here, so I could do bulkheads and have those drain right into our drain system without any problem. And I've got the perfect amount of space here, so I could build a shelf and put 6 40-gallon breeders. So that's what I would like to do, is have 6 more 40-gallon breeders back over here. That is the secret phase that my wife has not heard about yet. It was hard enough getting her to agree on this here and the shrimp rack. This phase here will take some divine intervention, and it's going to take several trips to Jared's Jewelers, but wish me luck. But you know what? This is out 6 months to a year anyways. Phase 1, I'm going to start building the rack within the next week or 2. I want to have that up and done by the end of the month. And then phase 2, I'll probably start that in April, the shrimp rack. And then honestly, we'll just have to see how it goes. Hopefully I can get my wife a little more interested, make sure this looks nice and clean down here, get her interested in the hobby, and then maybe I'll have a better than 50-50 chance of doing a rack of 640 breeders back over here. And what I would do with 640 breeders is anybody's guess right now. More plecos, definitely, maybe some more Tanganyikans, couple of planted tanks. Who knows? The possibilities are endless. But anyways, we're over the 10-minute mark, folks. Sorry to keep you so long. And if you have any comments, questions, post them below. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate it if you'd consider it. And I'll keep you posted as we get moving with this fish room build. And so watch for future videos. And I guess until next time, folks, we'll talk to you later.